Welcome to Life Changing Money, a podcast all about one of the most taboo topics in the world, money. I'm your host, Barbara Strehand, and we're going behind the scenes on business owners' journeys to money, success, and wealth. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Life Changing Money podcast. I am so excited because I have my friend Leka here today.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. And you're in my city.
And we're in Seattle, you guys.
Yes.
So you might, if you're watching the video of the podcast, you'll see we're in a different spot than normal. But Leka invited me to her real estate group. I'd love for you to just talk about how you created a community and networking group, because a lot of our community wants to do the same.
Yeah, so I started my networking group, which is heavily focused on investing in real estate in the greater Seattle area. And we started back in 2018. So we've run the meetup ever since. We've never missed a month, and we've done it through COVID.
Wow.
So during COVID, I went online and we had a meetup every month. We were able to bring on speakers from across the country. So it was such a treat. And then since 2022, we've been back in Seattle. And so it's such a pleasure that you came to us, because my crowd last night loved you. It was such a good presentation. But it's helped me build such a strong sense of community. We've had over 5,000 people come through the meetup.
That's
and
cool.
I see deals being made. I see people completely scaling their business, going from having no experience to now having done 15, 20 deals themselves because they met someone at the meetup.
And you started in real estate a long time ago, right?
Yes, a decade ago.
So when I first met Leka, it was at Shivani Peterson's real estate event, The Future is Female. And I loved your story about the squatter.
Yes.
So please tell us your squatter story, like in 2 minutes.
Okay, so if you know Seattle landlord tenant laws at all, you'll know that it's very stringent, very, very tenant friendly. And so I had a house that went on the market listed for rent. And then within a week of that, my property manager called me and said that there were people living in the house. And so when we went and spoke to these people, they said they had a lease with someone online, and they found this person on Craigslist. And I was like, yeah, no, this is not, it doesn't sound right. It's not good. Anyway, I had to work with the city. I had to work with the Seattle Police Department. I filmed a video that went viral. And so that's how I caught the attention of the SPD, because I just kept calling them and I wouldn't get any response back. They asked me to go through the eviction process, which could take 18 months. And it just felt so unfair that someone could break the locks, come in, start living there, and call themselves my tenants and not even pay me. And so they were just such a riot. But I ended up getting the SPD to come break the doors and take these squatters out in handcuffs. But the crazy thing is that the squatters left, and I walked into my house and I found a giant stripper pole in the middle of the living room. And so I guess they were OnlyFans content creators.
Oh.
It was crazy, but I was just happy that I was able to get them out within 3 weeks.
How did you get the PD to actually come? Because a lot of times in these crazy squatter stories, they'll just be like, oh, it's not our problem. You have to wait, do the whole process, and it'll take a year.
Yeah, exactly. So I hired an amazing attorney. A local news channel actually did a documentary on this. And so the newsroom, my attorney, and I all started just hitting up the Seattle Police Department with our videos and our concerns, really, because if they were doing this to me, then they could do this to anybody that was even out of town for a week. And so the police department finally saw that the squatters did have a criminal record, and so it gave them a motive to go in and pull them out.
Oh, great. Have you had any other squatter stories since?
Thankfully, no. A couple evictions. I just got done with one, and it takes a long time in this city, and it also costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so they're not fun. But as a landlord, it's almost inevitable.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't invest in real estate because they hear these horror stories. But you're still a real estate investor.
Yes.
You still flip a ton of properties. You just told me you have 7 flips going on right now, and you probably still have rentals.
Yes.
So tell us the good and why people should invest in real estate.
I love that question. I always say this, like, people in other states make fun of us, Washingtonians, for investing in Washington state, even with our laws. But our appreciation is amazing. And we have such a lack of inventory that anything that is worth it gets sold right away for a super high asking price. So I still think that, yes, we have all these other issues to deal with. Our permitting is awful. Like, it's huge timelines. But in that same vein, when a property is good, it appreciates and it sells really well. And we always have like multiple offer situations. We have great, like, there's the good side of the whole renting out to tenants is that we actually have some amazing tenants that take care of the properties, that are actually good people. And so, but they can't afford to live here because like buying a house is so expensive. So I feel like there is a market for someone like that. So yeah, I'm going to continue to do real estate here.
Yeah, we love our rental properties. I love renting to older people that are on Social Security, and people think I'm crazy for doing that, but I'm like, they need a safe place to live.
Yeah.
No one will rent to them because they're like, they don't have income, they just have Social Security, but it's like they get it every month and they pay their bills every month. And they're so grateful that like you're able to rent to them. But to your point of like states that have bad
reps,
bad reputations on real estate, Washington being one of them, Oregon, California, just being really like towards the tenants. The flip side is the appreciation is so high.
Right.
And I think a lot of people then they'll invest in like Arkansas or like Kansas or something because they're like, oh, they have good tenant laws, but
prices never go up.
Yeah, like you're buying $100,000 house and in 20 years you're going to sell it for $100,000. So there's always like the upsides and the downsides to it all. I would love for you to describe how you like first started in real estate, because I have so many clients that make such good money and they're so afraid to invest and they just like don't know how to do it.
Yeah. So I joined a program that was teaching about investing in real estate, because when I first started learning about it, I didn't know where I wanted to land. I didn't know if I wanted to be a broker, flip homes, own rental properties, do short-term rentals. There's so many different paths you can take. So I wanted to just learn about it all. And then I realized that if I was going to give up my W-2 income, I had to make money quickly. And the best way to do that is by flipping homes, because it's a much faster turnaround. Because I have to say this, real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, if anything, it is one of the most slow but wealth-producing aspects of investing. And so it's super important to know that. But also, given that flipping homes is one way to maximize returns in a shorter period of time. And so when I first started learning about it, I bought a flip. I bought a distressed property and I said I was going to flip this house. As I started to flip it, I was like, oh my God.
Did you have any experience in in construction?
No. Okay. Zero. I went from having a career in fashion merchandising at Nordstrom Corporate in Seattle to buying a completely distressed property and saying, I'm going to be an investor because I'm going to flip this house. And there's no looking back. It's been...
Did you take like your life savings to put the down payment on? What did the financing look like for that?
Okay, so we took a HELOC on our primary residence, and then I used that money to start my entire investing business. So I took a $150,000 HELOC on my primary to make it like a multi-million-dollar portfolio.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And we tell our clients all the time, look into getting HELOCs before you even think that you need one, because it's just great to have it available and they don't cost that much just to have open and there for you. So I love that you did that strategy. What are some of the ways that you save in taxes as a flipper? Because it's an active business for
Yeah.
you. It's not like the rental properties that get a bunch of depreciation.
Yeah.
So do you buy like a rental every time you have a flip, so then you have depreciation?
So I do own about 40 units in Seattle, so I do have a lot of depreciation. And then we do cost segregations, we do 1031 exchanges. So we try to implement as many tax strategies as possible, especially now that, so in the past, it was always a challenge. It was like, okay, we don't want to pay as much in taxes. We want to, try and depreciate our assets. But at the same time, we want a loan on this massive opportunity. And the lender looks at our taxes and they're like, yeah, you don't make any income. But now I feel like lenders are savvy and
Yes.
CPAs are more savvy in positioning us in a certain light, saying, okay, look, they have all this equity, they have all this income, but this is also the depreciation that they can take, and that's why they are maximizing on that.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now. I feel like there's so many different products. There weren't as many
Yeah.
loan products before, but now there's a ton of like investor friendly loans
So
that you
true.
can get.
Yeah, exactly.
So you did your first flip with a HELOC.
Yes.
You probably made money on it.
I lost $5,000.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
So then how'd you get the financing for the next one?
So I could have lost $100,000 on that deal, but I hustled. I just showed up to my job site every single day, and I just was like, I worked on it, like my life depended on it, and that's why I only lost $5,000. So I still had that seed money to go buy my next project, which was a lot more cost effective than the first one. And so I was able to do that. And then I just started making money on flips. And so, and the rest is history. Like,
And now you've done how many?
oh gosh, I have flipped over 100 homes.
That's so cool.
I know. And like, I don't even know how many units.
But you lost money on the first one. So
Yeah.
what in your brain was like, let me do this again?
Absolutely. So I loved the process. And I literally remember saying to myself, I sat in the car after my signing and I said, okay, I lost money on this one. I learned so much from it. What if I could actually turn a profit? How much more would I enjoy this? And so the next one, I actually made a profit and I was like, this is amazing. The next one and the next one and the next one. And I was like, okay, I'm on to something. Because my whole thing was, can I replace my W-2 income? Because at that point I'd quit my job and I had no other choice but to like crush it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I think
what
that's
did.
when I interview a lot of entrepreneurs, when it's their only option, they make it work.
Yes. And in Seattle, which is so tech heavy, you're always under the golden handcuffs.
Yes.
You get paid such a big tech salary. You have all these benefits and perks. That was
The
amazing.
RSUs.
The RSUs, right? But the amazing thing about working at Nordstrom is I didn't make a lot of money. I worked so hard. I loved what I did. Like if I actually made the money that I wanted to make at that time, I don't think I would have ever left.
Yeah.
But for working that hard, I just didn't feel like I was creating legacy. And that's why I wanted to explore.
What is your ultimate goal with real estate?
Honestly, just build a legacy that my kids and my grandkids are proud of. It's really hard to buy and maintain properties. Like it takes more money to own rentals than it is not. So don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. It does cost money to own real estate. And so I want to get my portfolio to a point where it doesn't cost them as much money to hold it or maintain it. And it's all paid off by the time they inherit it. So that's really my ultimate goal with real estate. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and I get to teach other people to do it. And so it's really satisfying in a way.
So if you could give one piece of advice to someone out there thinking of investing, what would it be?
My biggest piece of advice to anybody in any career is just get after it. The faster when you look at an idea or hear of an idea and you want to do it, the faster you implement, the faster you get on with it and actually just do it, the more successful you're going to be at it. And so if you're thinking about it, get off the sidelines and jump off that cliff.
I love that. Where can our listeners find you?
I am on Instagram and LinkedIn. My first and last name is Leka Devatha. and you can just hit me up. And I don't have anyone answering on my behalf. It's all me. So if you do get a response back, just know that it's from me.
And if you're in the Seattle area listening, you have to go to Leka's real estate events called Real Estate at Work.
Yes, it's called Real Estate at Work. We have it in downtown Seattle. It's once a month, and we bring on amazing speakers like Barbara. So come to it.
Well, thank you for listening, or thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life Changing Money. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love if you left a review and shared it with your friends. See you next time.